In college algebra, we wrapped up our notes by actually graphing polynomial functions. So here's the beginning. We did all this throughout the week. And maybe down here, here's number 5. Let's write the 4 steps for graphing. So those 4 steps are in behavior. We did that last week. Remember, you need to find n, which is the largest exponent. And sign of the lead coefficient. And then you can find your in behavior. We made a table on it last week. Step 2 is this week. Find the zeros. You may have to factor, or maybe it'll already be factored, and then you want to describe the behavior. Step 3 is one of the easiest, and that is y-intercept. We haven't done that yet, but it is very easy because all you have to do is plug 0 in for x. And you can typically see it with no work. The last step is turning points. Because when we graph it, we need to know how many times the line is going to turn, and that equals n minus 1. So that n, that degree thing up here, comes into play again. Largest exponent, minus 1. Tells us how many times the function turns. All right, let's give it a shot. So on number 6 here, we have our function. I see that n is 4, and the sign of the leading coefficient is positive. And if you're confused on that, that is the front number, which isn't written, it's a 1, a positive 1. All right? That means, if you look at your in behavior table, first of all, n is even. So it's either both up or both down. It's positive, so they're both up. Left side up, right side up. The x-intercepts, this is the zeros, I need to factor. So I'm going to take x to the 4th minus 2x squared plus 1. This one looks weird, but it's actually very easy, because if you remember that x squared times rewrite that. X squared times x squared equals x to the 4th. You hopefully see it's an easy one, because I need 2 numbers that multiply to 1 but add up to -2, and that's minus 1, minus 1. Now there is more to factor, but that first step is the hardest. So we have 2 pairs of difference of 2 squares. So this factors down to this, and this again. You're welcome to just write the zeros and describe them from here, but be careful. Look, we have duplicates. We have 2 of these and 2 of these, which means it bounces at those spots. So I know that at x equals -1, it bounces. And at x equals, 1, it also bounces. All right, that's step 1 and 2. The new step, we need to plug in 0. And you can probably do that in your head. 0 to the 4th minus 2 times 0 to the 2nd plus 1, which is 1. Y-intercept is at 1. Step 4, turning points. Remember, that's largest exponent minus 1. So we're going to go 4 minus 1, and we have 3 turning points. All right, let's graph it. We need mainly quadrant 1 and 2. So I'm going to draw the graph like this. And notice our coordinates do not go very far. We have a dot right here at 1. We have a dot right here at -1. And we have a dot up here at 1. So make a dot on those spots. All right, now we're going to use the end behavior, the bouncing, and the turning points to draw the graph. So I know from the end behavior that I have an arrow up here and an arrow over here. I know that when I hit the x-axis, it's supposed to bounce. So I need to go down, bounce, turn, bounce. I'm going to redo that. I missed it again. You probably get the right idea. Ah, that's bugging me. Try again. A little better. Oh, it's all weird in there. Oh well. You get the right idea. All right, let's try one more. Number 7, last problem. This one is factored. Step 2 is going to be very easy for us. But step 1, I can't see the lead coefficient. It might be -2, it might not. I don't know what n is. If you're clever, you can probably figure it out. But I need to simplify it also for step 3. So I'm going to multiply this whole thing out. And you need to go slow because of all the negatives. So I need to go, I'm going to start with the 2 middle parentheses. This times this, that times that, and get a result. I'm just going to copy the -2. I'll deal with that in a little bit, and I'll deal with the x plus 2 in a little bit. So I get x squared minus x plus 1. I can combine those 2 minus x's. Now I need to be extra careful because I have to distribute 3 things. That one, this one, and that one. So go extra slow, be careful. Still not dealing with the -2 yet. All right, now we're close. Look, these cross out. That's kind of nice. Last step. And now I see that n is 3. And the sign of the lead coefficient is negative. So n is 3, that's odd. That means the left and the right alternate. It's negative, which means it starts going up and it ends going down. The x-intercepts, I can see them right now because I see the factored, the typed part. I have this factor. And I have this factor. So I know we have a value at 1 and a value at -2. At x minus 1, it's squared, so it bounces. at x plus 2, it's to the first power, so it passes through. Y-intercept, look at the simplified version to the right of this. I plug in 0 and I can see the answer. And I hope you see that it's -4. Step 4, turning points. I'm running out of room to graph. N was 3, so 3 minus 1. There are 2 turning points. All right, I need to make some room for myself. I'm going to graph it up here. If you're using my handout, you should have tons of room. All right, we need to go 1 unit right, 2 units left for our zeros, and 4 units down for the y-intercept. So make your dots. And look at the end behavior. I know I have an arrow up here, and I have an arrow going down. I also know that -2, it passes, and at 1, it bounces. And I also need to cut through that -4. So it's going to come and pass through this. I'm going to try again here. Bounces. I don't like that graph. I did better in class. I don't know. That looks kind of funny. But that's the graph. So I wonder if it goes a little lower here. You can kind of figure that out on the calculator. But the key points are marked. Hope that made sense. I will see y'all later. Bye.